skill, 3 mana into skill every turn. And so 3 mana goes in every turn. Once it's totaled 20, which is what my current casting skill is, my casting skill will go up by 1, so it'll go up to 21. The number of skill research that I've spent will go down to 0, and then we'll start accumulating again until it hits 21, and then my skill will go up to 22, and then it'll reset, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of a long-term investment, but you do want it to go up because you're going to want to be able to cast more spells in combat, and then eventually you're going to get the spells that cost thousands of mana to cast, in which case you're going to want to do that. So I'm going to leave it kind of balanced for now. We'll see. Actually, I guess one question might be, any spells I want to cast now? Just cause is interesting. It increases the fame of my wizard, so I would get more heroes and things like that wanting to join my army, but it costs 3 mana per turn to maintain, so I don't think I want to bother with that at this time. I could cast a buff on my military units, but I'm not thinking about getting into combat at this time, so we're just going to move around. Properly map the edges of my territory. Got a desert here. I think we've just finished researching our first spell. You can see I've got a dove sitting next to my pedestal there. That's my familiar, and what familiar you get is based on what schools of magic you pick up. So I went life, so I got a dove. You can get like a little demon, you can get a bug or a black cat, and I don't know, different stuff. Alright, I'm going to pick up Plane Shift. It's a long-term spell, but at some point I'll want it. I know it won't be wasted, so seems like a good pick. So how do I reposition my view? There we go. So right here, this is a cave. It's an unexplored cave. It probably has monsters in it. I'm going to move my spearman into it just to see what happens. Oh, it's actually an unguarded cave, just an empty cave. Well, there's probably something in it, 50 gold. So there's all these, like in Civ you've got these like goody huts, these villages. Well, there's going to be a lot of those in this game. That is a Sorcery Node, so that's another example of this. These are special things in the map. Now, most of them, like the caves and ancient ruins, basically you can explore them. If there's monsters, you'll be required to fight them before you can get whatever they contain. And then once they've been cleared out, they are taken off the map. But this node, what happens is if I can clear this out, and I won't do it because, let me poke in here, it's got at least a Phantom Beast. But it doesn't tell you how many. It could be 9 Phantom Beasts. It could be a Phantom Beast plus a whole bunch of Phantom Warriors or something like that. So no, I don't want to enter. But now I've scouted it. I at least know what's in there. There's another ruin. So after you've defeated a node, you can build a magic spirit to go over there and meld with the node, and then it'll funnel all this raw mana directly into your vault. Very, very valuable. So I've finished my granary, which is nice. So now you can see I'm only required to keep one person farming. That's all I need because he makes 2 food. The granary makes 2 food, which is enough to feed my village. And then I've got one optional guy also on food to feed my army. And I've freed up an extra worker, so now I can make things faster. And the next thing I'm going to do is build a marketplace, which increases revenue of the city by 50%, which is nice. But then unlocks farmer's market, which gives me some more food. So these I really like for like just initial growth. Just a Guardian Spirit. Well, that one might be doable later, but right now I don't have a military, so I'm going to keep exploring. At some point I'm going to have to send these guys home because my city will get ganked. This is a Chaos Node, a Great Drake. Oh, that's a dragon. So I'm going to need some uber troops to take that out. I kind of loop back. Ooh, diamonds. And you can expand. You can build new cities. Oh, there's some ruins or something. Fallen Temple. Ghouls. Okay, well, the ghouls are not terribly dangerous, so that's good. Oh, we found our first... excuse me. Our first neutral city. It's a Barbarian City. So, which is a different race. They're not high men. They are barbarians. So the units they can build is going to be different. And they've got 5 swordmen defending this. So one of our priorities is going to be take over this neutral city, so that we can add it to our empire. So, like many turn-based strategy games, there's not a whole lot that's happening initially. Oh, another sorcery node. I guess I'll keep exploring them. Nah, guys. So that way, if I hit F1 for my surveyor, which you can also get here, you can mouse over things, and now I know what's in them because I've explored them. You can also find out, this is how you find out the best places to build cities, because if you mouse over somewhere, it's like, okay, if I built a city right here, then the maximum size of my city would be 8. It would get plus 24% bonus to production, and plus 10% bonus to gold. And I also could sort of eyeball how much food I would get from different squares, because grasslands produce 1.5, forests produce 1/2 of food. And I don't know how that modifies your racial thing. Like my men apparently generate 2.5 food, so I don't know how that all works together. But maybe it just passively creates food for you. Maybe if I build a city right here, then I get 1.5 food for free. Maybe that's all that is, which would be kind of excellent. But the surrounding terrain does influence your city. Like this right here is iron ore, which reduces normal unit cost by 5%. These are gems, which gives me plus 5% gold. And if I look at my city, actually, I do have iron ore here, so units are going to be slightly cheaper for me. Lots of iron ore all over the place. It's actually, iron ore is not fantastic. Lots of nature nodes, which I think will make the true sight spell, which I don't have it. No, I would have been in that list. Yeah. So the true sight spell is really going to be important because there's going to be a lot of illusionary creatures in those nodes, and we're going to have to... Oh, there's a bigger city, bigger neutral city, also barbarian. So the way the races get generated is the continents kind of get assigned a major race. So it looks like, unless that connects to more over there, looks like we're in a fairly isolated continent, which kind of sucks. But if I don't have to compete with any rivals, I guess I'll send one guy back up here. I'm gonna send my swordman back home though. Just for completeness, maybe I'll visit down here. What was I saying? Yeah, so this continent looks like it's mostly populated barbarians, which sucks because they're not really a great race, but well. Because the race of the city is determined, like, if I go and take it over, it's going to stay a barbarian city. That's an important point, right? I picked high men as my race, but that's only the race of my starting city. Everything else, is whatever I take over. And then, if I want, I can build caravans out of my main city, my high men city, to found new cities, in which case it would be high men. Or if I built them out of barbarians, then I would have more barbarian cities. So you're really flexible. Your starting race really does not shackle you. Although obviously it's guaranteed that you'll have access to that. Okay, so we've completed our marketplace, and we've got our first rebel. So this guy here produces nothing and doesn't get taxed. And unrest just happens as the city grows. You can manage unrest by garrisoning units in here. I think every 2 units will reduce unrest by 1. Also, you can improve it by building shrines, which shrines give you mana and reduces unrest level, and then next level would be a temple, which further does it more, and so on and so forth. I'm going to keep up with my plan. I'm going to increase my farmers market, get more free food, more extra people, and then we'll work on the rest after that. It's been a long time since I've played, so some of the mechanics I may be wrong about. Got a lot of mana kicking around, but not a whole lot I can do with it. Oh, looks like a nature node. Let's explore it. Cockatrice. Ooh, they've got a stoning attack. Turn people to stone. Very, very dangerous. They tend to kill regular units pretty easily, unless they have a high degree of resistance. Lots of stuff over here. Zombies. No. An archangel. Wow. It's going to be a tough one, but the tougher the... let me check something here. Yeah, that hasn't canceled the unrest. So you do need 2 units in here to cancel the unrest. I'm going to spend some gold to rush the farmer's market. Doesn't cost too much. And then I might build another unit in there just to quell the unrest, since my spearmen are still exploring. There we go. Again, an excess of food. Change this. I'm going to build some spearmen since they're cheaper. And that'll quell the unrest. Although ultimately we will need to build some... what do we got here? Oh! An unguarded keep with some mana crystals. Awesome. Really, I should almost spend something, but I don't really have anything that's worth spending on. I'll just keep saving. Actually, I've got so much here. I'm going to decrease my mana generation and just keep pumping points into research and skill. I don't need any extra mana right now. Patrol. Good. And you don't get a pop-up when a unit gets finished, so they'll just keep producing the same unit over and over until you change queue. So yeah, you can see I don't have any unrest anymore, which is nice. Now what am I going to build? I can build a Miners Guild because I have iron, which increased the bonus from iron by 50%, but it's pretty small to start off with. It does increase production by 50%, which is awesome, but Miners Guild costs 3 maintenance per turn. Very, very expensive early on, so I may not bother. I like the Sawmill, increases the production of 4 squares by 25%, and lets you start building bowmen, and that will depend on how many 4 squares you've got, which is not much. I only have 1, so I don't know if that's a winner. It does unlock the Forester's Guild, though, which, as I recall, is super good. A library gives me research, and then you can look at the military units and start building a military. But I think I'm going to work... Miners Guild doesn't unlock anything, does it? Mechanician's Guild, which lets you build siege engines. I'm going to go and build a Sawmill because I think the Forester's Guild is really good. I don't remember. And may as well try it. I don't know. We can just start building units. Yeah, stables. The Animist Guild is really good, but I probably need temples or library. Oh, I've got a shortage of food, so I'm going to have to make an adjustment there. It's because I built my extra spearmen. There we go. And you know what? The other thing I forgot is you can change the tax rate. I thought you did it here. No? Tax collector. So if I increase the tax rate by a little bit, do I have any unrest? Yeah, I do. But I get more gold. And it's F7. Maybe I should use that. And if I increase it more, I get 2 unrest. Yeah. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to charge as much as you can without having unrest that actually hurts you. And as we increase happiness around here, then we will have the ability to increase our taxes more and more. And, geez, there's a lot of stuff right here. Shadow demons, yeah, they're bad. Ba-ba-ba-bum-ba. Stables. Alright, so now you can see we can now build cavalry, which are pretty decent. They get a first strike ability, because normally the way it works is you go into combat and both sides kind of hit each other. This way they would get to hit without being hit back, at least on the first round. But we're going to keep going down the military branch. So the armory doesn't actually do anything by itself, but it unlocks more buildings, so we're going to keep going down there. What am I looking for? What unit am I looking to produce to start attacking people? I mean, I could just build cavalry. Swordsmen and spearmen are super cheap. Swordmen are quite a bit better than spearmen. So spearmen get 1 melee, basically 1 damage, or 1 attack. The way it works out, it's really weird, but basically every unit in the stack, so all 6 units, swings this many times, and each attack has I think it's based at 50% chance to hit and do 1 damage. So basically, these guys would get a total of 6 attacks, so on average, 3 of them will land. So on average, they'll do 3 damage, but it'll be reduced by the armor. The armor has like a 50% chance per shield to reduce the damage, blah, 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 blah. So the swordmen are like way, way more effective. Actually, I guess this is a stack of 8 spearmen, so that balances it out somewhat. They get 8 attacks, but these guys will still get 18 attacks. So quite a bit more. The cavalry, see, this is where it gets deceptive. You're like, oh, it's got 4 melee, it's better.